Hi, my name is Blaire Chandler, and I am a writer and actress. And I am beginning a essay series for the month of August, all inspired by my musical memories of my childhood. And so this is my prologue, installment 1. I have always been heavily influenced by music. My parents loved it, and it was always playing wherever we lived. Beatles, Vivaldi, Jacques Brel, James Taylor. My grandmother must have loved music too, or at least did at some point, since she had had speakers hardwired into several locations around the house. Really old, and looked like carved oak box lyres with gold mesh speaker fabric. And as a result, one could play an album downstairs, but hear it equally well all over the house, depending on which speakers were activated. And a case in point, I remember asking my mother to put on Timid Frida down in the living room so I could hear it upstairs while I slept. And if you know that song, you'll know why it's hauntingly funny to me now to recall that it was my favorite song when I was about 6. There was a fancy hi-fi in the living room, plus a record player with a huge collection in the den, and an old turntable radio cabinet that could play not only 45s, but also 33s and even 78s, located in the upstairs sun porch off the den. There was a radio in the kitchen, my own portable 45 player that I got for Christmas when I was 7. Music everywhere. And then later in Arkansas, my stepfather installed outdoor speakers, big ones in the trees around our property. So again, one could put on an album in the living room and yet still hear it down around the lake, bouncing off the trees. Long before there were boom boxes and Bluetooth speakers, I was surrounded by a soundtrack no matter where I went. I discovered the American Top 40 when I was in the 4th grade. Being a systems person by nature, I would thrill at noticing an upward or downward song trend. Soon I started making charts, entering each song as Casey announced it, and then comparing it to the previous week's results. Eventually, I was predicting which songs would go up or down, based on what I would notice in terms of any given song's heaviness of play within a 4-hour period of time on KRAV. I became very, very good at this game. I became even better when the man my mother was dating at the time offered me, in exchange for him taking her out on New Year's Eve, when she had promised to spend the evening with me listening to the Top 100, a stereo of my very own with a built-in tape deck so I could actually record the weekly programs. I grudgingly accepted because it was a really good stereo. Very high-tech model for the time, and made by a company well known for producing equipment for audiophiles. It was very expensive, and it just now occurred to me that the son of a bitch probably stole it. But anyway, I felt about my first stereo the way others might feel about their first car. But I still ached that I had no one to share that New Year's countdown with that night as it flowed crystal clear out of the new speakers. After all, I had hoped to share my knowledge of what songs would appear where and show off a bit and feel smart. Funny, I still remember that. Funnier, I'm still mad about it. Our house on East 30th Place wasn't massive, but I was a bedroom wanderer all the same. When I discovered the Top 40, my bedroom was the bedroom that had been my mother's, which was pale pink and overlooked the backyard. Later, my room was Big Mother's room, my great-grandmother's, the gold bedroom overlooking the front yard with the blue bathroom attached. For a season, I took up residence on the sun porch with its mahogany spool beds and copper satin coverlets. And at another point, I claimed as my room the large walk-in storage closet, a space of probably 6 by 6 feet with built-in shelving on one wall. Looking back, I am guessing that I coveted a space that had never been anyone else's, and given that it was just big enough for a cot, a phone table, books, and of course that stereo, to which I had eventually added multiple components including a turntable and fancy speakers, It was the perfect sanctuary for a preteen girl. Music, books, and a phone with a long enough cord to talk to Hunt. I needed nothing else. Many, many decades later, my memories are so clear of those songs, those lists, and those various bedrooms, plus the ones at the boarding school dorm, the one at Kimber's, the one at Leo's house on 14th, the house on 13th, the house on North Denver, Diane's house, etc., etc., that even now, David and I will listen to those flashback top 40 programs. And after hearing just a few songs from a given week, I can most times still predict what will be in the top 20, if not the top 5. Similarly, a song can come on, and if it's from that 10-year period, I can close my eyes, see the bedroom I was in, and pinpoint what year it was, and often even what season it hit the top 40. But more important to me now than remembering where in the charts the song fell on a certain week are the memories associated with those songs. My friends, my parents, my experiences. It's like the songs of that era don't just live in the memory of my ear, but also my body. I can recall how I felt. In many cases, remember precisely what I was wearing, where the light was coming from, what I was longing for, and what I was afraid of. So that is what I'm going to write about. I'm going to put on a playlist of a given year and just see what comes up. I may not post everything here. Hell, I may not post anything here. Many of these memories are nice. Many are not. I'm not going to judge. I'm just going to tell them. Stay tuned. Thanks.